And of course, your sister, Kristie, you guys were the first sisters to ever play on a U.S. women's national team, which just blows my mind that of a relatively small roster, two girls from the exact same household made it, which is absolutely remarkable. And Bob, I want to get your thoughts on that because I can only imagine how proud you are to watch your two girls play, let alone together. But Sam, just talk a little bit about what that was like growing up together. Was there a competitive rivalry? Did one of you kind of? Oh, I see your dad laughing. I think I just picked a scab. Well, go ahead. I don't think the question needs any more elaboration. Go for it.
Yeah. So Kristie, I think to this day will say that the competitiveness only ever came from me being this little sister. I was always trying to be better. I was always trying to keep up. And I mean, I think, yes, it's very safe to say we were competitive. We used to play like 1v1 in the backyard. We played at a certain point, I started playing up on her town team, which I remember was like kind of an issue with her. And then just, trying to like be friends with her friends. Club, we didn't play together, but we went into a few youth national team camps together. We actually made 2 Youth World Cup rosters together in 2008 and 2010. And I think we fought like crazy growing up. And I do think it's because it was this really heightened soccer, not rivalry, but just like we both wanted to be so good. We both wanted to be the best. And there was this kind of external pressure put on us, like in our high school years, especially. But going through playing on those teams together, like the youth national teams, I think it was this eye-opening thing. Like, wow, we're actually a little bit closer to our childhood dream than we realized we'd ever get. And so kind of, I think that Kristie's success coming a little bit before mine always made me feel like I was closer than I ever knew I would be, because I saw her make the national team and I was like, oh, that's actually possible for somebody like us. So her influence on me was like obviously incredible. And even now playing on the same team is just the coolest thing ever. We're very close now. We don't really fight anymore, which is great. But I know it drove my parents crazy, and there was definitely a heightened competitiveness for sure.
I'm sure your parents are both thrilled to hear that you don't fight anymore. Before I want to get back to your dad as we transition to something, but just one last thing on playing with your sister and whatnot. You brought up the external pressures, right? And you said especially it was really heightened when you guys were in high school. I can only imagine what that was like, having 2 national caliber players, sisters playing together. Like, take us back to those years. Like, how did you guys at such a young age, you're making national teams at 14U, you're going to these elite camps, all eyes are on you, I'm sure, at your high school. You're probably the best athletes that have ever come through your school. Like, at such a young age, what were those pressures and how did you handle them personally? Did you guys handle them collectively as a family? Like, what was your family's approach to both internal pressures you put on yourself, but also external pressures that the community, the expectations that people put on you girls?
Yeah, I would love to hear my dad's thoughts on how we handled that as a family. I think that partly our high school team, and this is something that goes on in soccer actually, is that I think girls get pressure to not play high school soccer because they should be doing year-round club and year-round like academy soccer. And high school in some states and areas is looked at as more for fun. But we both played all 4 years of high school soccer. And I think that was another example of not being so under pressure all of the time to be playing club and getting scouted and having it be like the end all be all. Our high school team was so important to us. We loved it. But it also was this element of like representing our town, being with the friends that we grew up with, and kind of, like you said, getting to do that together and getting to have this more fun, more relaxed environment to just continue to enjoy the game. But I don't remember that much detail, but I would love to hear if my dad remembers having to handle as a family any like pressures or, I don't know, if anything going on during that time when we were in high school.
Not really. I mean, there was always just the feeling when we walked on into the stands. Everybody was glad to see that you girls were going to be there at that game, because there were many times where both of them had to miss games for high school. So there was always just that feeling, oh, good, the Mewis girls are here. So
we're going to win. We're going to win.
But not a lot of pressure from the community at all. Everybody was so supportive and so happy that the girls had so much success. And their coach was just a terrific guy. He did a great job with our daughters and everybody that I coached in youth soccer and all of their friends that played youth soccer in the town. He just did a great job with them. So I wouldn't say that there was pressure from anybody in the town, no.